YouTube founding community, Beach Boys fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we're here today to talk about one of the best Beach Boys albums they ever made, Beach Boys Today. Released March 8th, 1965 through Capitol Records. This is one of those albums that, like, if you're a Beach Boys fan, you own this album. Every song on this thing is fantastic. Well, the last one's not really a song, but every song on this thing is mind-blowing. The production, the layering of vocals, the layering of instruments, the atmosphere that's built, the energy, the lack of energy. This album was, Pet Sounds' dad. And it's one of those things where it's like, who knows what would have happened next? We got the Summer Days album because Capitol was like, yo, this is a little bit too heavy for us. Put out something more lightweight. So they did the Summer Days album, so that's why it's full of more upbeat, happier songs. That being said, those songs are still just as impressive musically and creatively as what this album does, but this album is one of those magical moments where when you first hear it, it blows you away. It's just that simple. It's an absolute piece of magic. There were a few singles released on this album. When I Grew Up to Be a Man came out August of 64. Dance 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 was in October of 64, and Do You Wanna Dance came out in February of 65. So some of these songs had existed for a little while, but most of this done was recorded in January of 65. It didn't come out in the UK till April of 66, which I did not know until recently, so that was pretty interesting. And there was not a stereo mix of this thing until 2012. So back then, if you wanted a stereo sounding version, you bought the duophonic one. So there you go, duophonic stereo. Well, duophonic for stereo phonographs. It basically sounded stereo-ish, but there was no actual stereo copy to the 2012 reissues. And this copy is an original mono in the shrink in absolute brilliant shape. So this album, I'll give a little bit of backstory on my discovery of this album. I first heard this for the first time in high school, and I had owned Pet Sounds for a long time, and I had Smiley Smile and Wild Honey, and I wanted to go a little bit earlier because I knew their greatest hits and stuff, but I never heard this album before. And it was one of those things where it was like, it hit the spot, Just, it hit the spot. And it was exactly what I was looking for and exactly what I thought it would be. It was just as interesting as Pet Sounds, but not as heavy, and it still had some of that youthful spirit of optimism, whereas Pet Sounds is a little bit more, not world-weary, but a little bit more, like, grown up. This is still sort of, like, growing up, if you will. And I adore it. I mean, who doesn't? It's one of their best albums. It opens up with Do You Wanna Dance? And it's great hearing Denny open an album. I love his voice, his beautiful lead vocal on this dense production, this explosive chorus, the angelic harmonies. I mean, this song just flows the whole way through. The way it builds up, the drums are impactful, the whole thing shakes you. It's one of those songs where if it comes on, you can't help but move. That solo is perfect. It's got surf rock inspiration, but that surf rock grew up to be something else. It's got a whole new attitude. The song rocks the whole way through. And, Brian wailing in the background, the punchy background vocals from the guys. This song is an instant 10 out of 10. Perfect choice for a single. Good to My Baby. Elaborate harmonies that lead to that slinky guitar riff. I love that. But Brian and Mike alternating lead vocals again. Classic mid-period Beach Boys of the time. That tambourine that won't quit. It's dancey, it's well produced, it's talking about taking care of your special someone. Just a nice, uplifting message. It's a great song. That chorus, she's my girl and I'm good to my baby. It sticks in your head forever. What a song, man. Don't Hurt My Little Sister. Again, love the chord changes on this one. Mike's lead vocal is so confidently loud. He's not shouting, but he's like pushing himself a little bit, which you can kind of hear in moments. I like that a lot. And then Brian comes in doing his high falsetto stuff. The chorus harmonies are dynamic. The whole thing is just classic Beach Boys. And I like the guitar riff following the lead vocal during the chorus. It's a cool little touch to have on there. But, the layering of instruments on this thing, again, is magic. When I Grew Up to Be a Man, we all feel that way, whether you're a girl or a boy or whatever. You always wonder what you're going to be like when you grow up. And I still feel that way. I mean, I guess technically I am a grown-up, but I still feel like, what am I going to be like when I'm older, we all feel that way. Like, will I still love the same music? Will I still be in the same relationship? Will I still live where I live? Will I still want to go have fun? Will I be an old fogey? Will I just want to sit around and watch TV all day? Like, you wonder about these things because as a kid and into your 20s and I guess 30s, you have this energy and this spirit that you want to take on the world, or some people do, and or even if you don't, you just like what you like, and then you think, man, someday I'm going to be like 60. What am I going to be like when I'm 60? Like, what's that world going to be like? Am I still going to be who I am? And this song encapsulates that so perfectly, and the song instantly feels like nostalgia, even though it's talking about the future, reflecting on the past. It's kind of a back and forth kind of thing. Very tricky song, but counting up the years at the end is a very cool touch. Really warm chord changes on this one. It really tugs at your heartstrings, and again, they do more of the whole tinkling sounds that match with the vocals. And the cymbal work on this is fantastic too. Another magical song. Help Me Ronda, this is the album version, so it's a little bit different from the single version that came out only a month later in April, which hit #1 with Al singing, which I'm sure made a couple people in the band go, huh, Al, huh? All right, okay. Keep an eye on this guy. He's got some tricks up his sleeves there. Let's see if he cooks up with the next album. So, Help Me Ronda, the album version, is also a fantastic track as well. I mean, that first line, since you put me down, I've been out, do it in my head. That's very much, I've been in this town so long that back in the city I've been taken for lost and gone unknown for a long, long time. Totally of that ilk, if you will. And I love that. I mean, it's such a catchy little song. And that chorus is infectious. It must have been one of those things where it first came out. Some people heard it on the radio and they were like, damn, that's a catchy ass song. It's one of those things where, like, I feel like people these days might take it a bit for granted or think it's a bit cheesy, but I still feel the magic on that one. That's a song I really haven't gotten tired of. And then Dance, Dance, Dance. I mean, oh my God. I mean, another upbeat, tempo, absolute shredding rock and roll song, all about waiting for that school bell to ring so you can get the hell out of there and go live your life, or your work day or whatever you want to do. But the second you get out of that restriction, you can go be yourself and be free. Let loose and dance. I mean, what a brilliant concept. We all feel that way, It's just a rock and roll, 100% on fire song. It rips through the sleigh bells. Yes, those Beach Boys sleigh bells are back. Killer riff, killer energy. Everyone taking turns vocally. Mike is just perfect on the leads. The chorus with Brian doing the high parts. The guys in the background behind him. The whole thing fits and flows so well. They were on fire at this point. You couldn't stop these guys. And then you flip the record over. But if you look to your left, so this is where the album takes a complete left turn, where side 1's basically up-tempo rock and roll songs. Side 2 is where things get a little heavy, a little deeper, a little introspective. Songs that you were not expecting to hear in a Beach Boys album, places you didn't think you can go with the Beach Boys. That being said, perfectly starting with Please Let Me Wonder, a song about exploration, a song about hoping the person you love and you're in a relationship with accepts you as you might change or might want to explore new grounds. It's kind of the grandfather of I just wasn't made for these times, a little bit. And hoping that person sticks with you as you do it, but it's sad, it's longing, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's a piece of pop perfection. It's a wonderful track, and the way Carl says, I love you at the end, it's like, whoa! Oh my God, like it just punches you right in the chest. I mean, it is a deep, deep, gorgeous track. And the way it fades out into nothingness as if there's no resolve. Whew, I mean, holy moly, man. And then you get I'm So Young, which the way it opens up with that, I have a girlfriend. I'm not going to do it, but the way it opens up with Solo Brian before leaping into this like well of production, this dense production of all these instruments together. It's heart-wrenching. The background vocals are just as heart-wrenching as Brian's. And, Brian's lead vocal is this heartache set to music. It's unbelievable. And the song ends, it's got that fake fade out, and then it comes back with that little tiny guitar riff, dun, 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 and then this really sad Can't Marry No One bit. And it's like, oh my God, the way they took this song and completely turned it on its head. Whew. Hell of a track. And then you get Kiss Me Baby, which is like, dreamy piano, the vocals just lilting on top of it like a feather falling to earth. It's such an honest representation of heartbreak, where it's like, we didn't get on real well. I'm feeling like crap. People realize that, we're not getting on, and how do we get forward through this? And I remember watching a documentary with Brian a long time ago where he plays that song, and he picks out the kiss a little bit, fight a little bit at the bottom of the chorus vocals. And every time I hear that now, I think of that scene. And it's just a gorgeous song. It's one of those things that can go on forever. It's so damn good. Absolute magic. And then She Knows Me Too Well, which is a song about a guy who knows he can't break his bad habits, and he's doing some dumb stuff, but he really loves the person that he's with at the same time, so he's conflicted by his old self and trying to move forward and grow up and be a new person that's better for the person he's with. The realism on that song, again, the song wears its emotions on its sleeve, and it's proud of being honest, where it knows it's messing up, and it's just another gorgeous track that lends itself to that honesty that Brian was really trying to push through in this music at this time, where he wasn't trying to be Mr. Super Happy Pop guy. He wanted to put some depth into rock and roll, and he really does it. I mean, the lyrics on this track are, I really like the lyric. Sometimes I have a weird way of showing my love. The word weird is very seldomly used, and when it's done right, it's a very effective word, so it lends itself to the storytelling of this track very well. And then you get In the Back of My Mind, which is absolutely one of the most brilliant things they ever did. That's top 10 Beach Boys right there. We get Dennis closing the album just as he opened it. It's gut-wrenching and soulful, but so full of love. And hearing his voice crack in a couple of moments is like the icing on the cake. It's like the culmination of everything we've worked for on this record to get to that point where Dennis just seals it and sends it home. It's a reflective, moody piece with wonderful strings that just go completely on left field, and nice horns that are a little bit more understated, but a rare Dennis vocal. And my God, he nails it. It's just one of those moments where the second it starts, you can't turn that song off. You got to hear the resolve. You got to hear where he goes with it. You're on the journey with him together, and it's unbelievable. Brian would do a version of this about 10 years later that he wouldn't put out for a much longer time. And I think he wanted to wait till his voice was like a little bit more older to do a version himself. But Dennis's version is just chef's kiss. And then Bull Session with Big Daddy, which is for some reason on this album is a moment of like reflective chillness, I guess, after the depth that you've experienced in the last few songs, to have like a bit of a joke, really. But nothing important. It's just them goofing around talking with Earl Leaf. Nothing too crazy. But here's the back cover. And I do not have the original inner sleeve, as is the case with a lot of 60s albums. So yeah, I don't think it's any secret this album's a 10 out of 10 for me, and for most people. It's one of those albums where if you're a Beach Boys fan, I don't do the whole like essential thing too much, because I think saying something is essential is a little BS, because it's essential is complete subjective. But if you're a Beach Boys fan, or you want to dive deeper into the Beach Boys, this is your album. Not one moment on this thing will disappoint you. It's a fantastic listen, and it really is the peak of the Beach Boys before Pet Sounds and what would come after that. So if you're looking for like the culmination of 3.5 years of work of what that sounds like, boom, that's it. 10 out of 10, hands down, one of the best things they've ever done. Desert Island album, if you will. So there you go. My name is Giggens. This has been the Beach Boys today. It's been an honor to talk about this damn classic. I love every second of this album, and I always will. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. I'm very, very stoked to talk about it with you. And take care of yourselves, and we'll see you later. Bye.